Welcome to the first episode of Crunch Time. We're going to be talking the offseason today. Bunch of stuff's happened. Free agency is tomorrow. Way behind, so let's get into it. Get to know me. Warriors fan. Draymond. Love the shirt. Yeah, so obviously we have news about the Warriors. They're looking to trade Jimmy Butler for Anthony Davis and then sign LeBron in a cheaper deal. We'll get into that later, some potential trade packages and whatnot, but let's get into some other transactions, other trades that have gone down, and we'll recap the draft as well. All right, so some of the transactions so far. Kevon Looney, he declined, or New Orleans declined his team option, so he will become a unrestricted free agent, which isn't really all that much news for anyone who's not a Warriors or Pelicans fan, but good rebounder. I think he's better to have on a team than not. The Charlotte Hornets, obviously, they traded LaMelo Ball and Josh Green to Minnesota for Naz Reid, 2033 unprotected first-round pick, 3 first-round pick swaps, which there's a bunch of, individual things. I think one of them, they get the better of the Mavs, Spurs, and Timberwolves pick, or the worst of those 3. So, a few of those pick swaps are kind of not like, it's not going to happen. Charlotte's probably just going to have their pick that year, but they also threw in 3 seconds, which are kind of bags of chips right now. So, not really much there. Kind of just Nas in a first, and maybe 2029 pick swap or 2028 pick swap is a straight pick swap, but 29 and 30 have some weird stuff with them. So, kind of one real pick swap, a pick. So, better hope that 2028 the Timberwolves don't underperform. But that's kind of the point of the trade. LaMelo, big injury history, and finally didn't get injured last year, really, and he played about 70 games. I can see the reason for both teams selling and buying LaMelo. So, all in all, I think it's a good gamble for both teams, and I hope both teams walk away from this happy. I don't think LaMelo is, untouchable, and I think they did good due diligence taking their offers, and Charlotte needed physicality, and they got it with Naz Reid. Speaking of physicality and Charlotte, they traded Miles Bridges. The exact details: a 2029 first round pick, a 2027 second round pick, and Miles Bridges to the Phoenix Suns for Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, a 2033 first. So it's not much. I think Charlotte kind of got scammed here. I could be wrong. Royce O'Neal and Grayson Allen are good role players. I do think they bring physicality. So if you try and go down that route, that is good. Although I do think Miles Bridges brought physicality to his girlfriend. But anyways, I think Miles Bridges and a first is completely a bad trade for that, especially first next year. I know next year's draft isn't particularly the best from what I've heard. So maybe they're just kind of throwing that in. Like, that first round pick might have been second round talent from this year. So maybe that's how they're looking at it. All in all, though, they did get physicality. And And since there's not going to be Miles Bridges' girlfriend on the other team, I think so, not horrible if you want to bring that physicality, because the Magic beat them up. Um, the Clippers and Raptors are in serious trade talks about Kawhi Leonard. I think that's pretty neat. Kawhi didn't really do anything in the 6 years he was in um, Los Angeles, except for the aspiration scandal. So I don't even know what's going to happen there. I think the Raptors obviously want to know that Kawhi's contract will not be voided before they trade for him. So I'm sure the news on that will be pretty soon, especially if there's serious trade talks. Mark Williams re-signed with the Phoenix Suns. I think that's good for them. I think they have a pretty good thing going with Gillespie, and then Booker. Booker changed his number. Then Brooks, and now Miles Bridges and Mark Williams probably gonna start. I don't know. They got a few options there, but they all in all, they don't have a bad roster. At least they're starting, and first few guys off the bench aren't too bad. They're NBA players. Speaking of NBA players, Kobe White, he resigns after the LaMelo trade for a 3-year, $74 million contract, so around $25 million a year, to return to the Hornets. And speaking of a 3-year, $75 million contract, the Thunder re-signed Hartenstein for basically that exact same deal. I personally think I'd rather have Kobe White than Hartenstein, so I think by principle, Hartenstein's being overpaid, but Hartenstein did do a lot of good things for OKC last year, and especially in the series versus Spurs, he realistically was their best big man because Chet was a mouse compared to Wemby. And I think having him and Adembona really, I said Ademara, really can help you stop Wemby. I know everyone's saying that, so I'm not going to stay on that for too long. But Alvarado is declining his player option, which is $4.5 million, and re-signing for 3 years, $14 million. So he's getting around the same annually, but it's just, extended. I think that's good security for Alvarado, seeing as he did get cut 6 months ago. So, or no, he got traded, but for scraps. So he got cut, but I think it's good security for him. Good money. I love that kid. He's great. Go get your back. Go help the Knicks win another championship. That's the goal, right? Ron Harper Jr., the starting point guard for the Celtics in the Game 7 of the first round, which they lost. It's 3 years, $9 million. I'm not gonna be like, oh, that's a bad contract because it's a roster spot. You need 15 players. He's one of the 15 players on the team. Maybe he can learn something at Thanksgiving from his brother. The Pistons, they acquired Isaiah Joe from the Thunder. The Thunder got 2 second-round picks. The Thunder are kind of stacking up second-round picks, so kind of curious what they're going to do there. Speaking of the Pistons, they sent Isaiah Stewart to the Grizzlies for 2 second-round picks. So they basically sent Isaiah Stewart for Isaiah Joe. So did an Isaiah school pop. One's a lot shorter and can shoot. The other one beats people up. Sacramento Kings, they're trading Devin Carter to the Atlanta Hawks for a second-round pick. Speaking of the Kings, Zach LaVine is accepting his $50 million player option. Shocker. The Lakers are um, forced to keep DeAndre Ayton, unfortunately, because he's accepting his player option of 8 million because he probably wouldn't get more than that. Um, Please, Ayton, use your big body and do something productive. So the Lakers or any team can pay you 20 million because you are more than capable of that. You have plenty of good assets that, and you play next to Luca. Like Luca almost made Dwight Powell look like an all-star, right? Not really, but it's close. Uh, Josh Minot is signing a new 2-year, $9 million deal to return to the Brooklyn Nets. Golden State Warriors forward Draymond Green is declining his $27.7 million player option to become a free agent. That's pretty big news because obviously no one's going to pay Draymond 30 million. So he's clearly taking a pay cut here. That's at least what I thought with Trae Young. Um, I swear if they pay Draymond 50 million, I'm going to be very upset because 37-year-old Draymond is not worth 50 million. Even though I'm wearing his shirt, he's not. So yeah, that would really suck if they did that. However, um, this leads into the Anthony Davis LeBron stuff. They're clearing up the cap so they can trade away Jimmy for AD. Their contracts are basically the same, so that's why everyone's saying that. Um, I think AD makes 58 and Jimmy makes 56. So yeah, unfortunately for Jimmy, he's hurt. I personally would rather keep Jimmy, but he's hurt. And I mean, AD probably will be, but we'll see. James Harden is declining his $42.3 million deal to sign a longer term contract. The details are not out yet, but that's kind of what's happening. My opinion on that, James Harden was not the best in the playoffs this year, but for his standards, he was not bad at all. I think Donovan Mitchell can sometimes have too much pressure on him to play make, and that's when you get those high turnover games from both of them because obviously that's just hard in the playoffs, and then Donovan Mitchell trying to pick up slack because Harden sucks in the playoffs. Trace Jackson Davis, his team option is being picked up by the Raptors for 2.4 million. I honestly think that's an underpay. Obviously, that's his rookie deal, and he was a late second-round pick. So obviously, it's probably going to be an underpay because he's been in the league for 3 years at this point. But yeah, Bradley Beal is declining his $5.6 million player option with the Clippers. He is making 19 million this year from the Suns, so I don't think it's a money problem because that'd be 24, and I don't think he's going to get 24, but maybe he just doesn't want to be on the Clippers because they're about to sell everything. So yeah, it's good. This one's actually pretty big. Marcus Smart is declining his $5.4 million player option. There's a lot of rumors that he's going to go to the Rockets. Yeah, I could really see that happening. Obviously, his connection with Ime is pretty strong. So I think the Rockets are pretty tangible and could really be, it could really happen. Okay, so I just finished recording the whole episode, and two big things just happened. So I'm pulling this in after our free agency and draft recap portion. The first that isn't so big is Jonathan Kuminga's player option is being declined, or team option is being declined because he's getting paid 24 mil because some stupid ass team decided to pay him 24 mil, and the Hawks like, you're not fucking getting that. So he's going into free agency. Hawks might resign him for less. He might go somewhere else where he can be, more of a number one option. I personally would love to see him in Milwaukee. But On bigger news, John Morant got traded to the Portland Trailblazers to for Chris Murray and Jeremy Grant. Um, I personally think the Grizzlies walked away from this very happy. They got two players that can help them get above that threshold where potentially next year they have the number one pick because they're in that mid tier. I don't think the Grizzlies are going to be a playoff team, but I think this is a great spot. Jeremy Grant can be a very good bet for Cam Boozer, and Chris Murray is kind of just there. He's all right. He's just a player. You got roster spots to fill. For the Trailblazers side, their the report is that they're going to try to play Dame and Ja together with Denny alongside, and then Klingon rounding it out. They're going to need a four. Uh, Drew Holiday is also still there, so he's got some good mentors around him with Dame and Drew Holiday. I think if I could pick any two people to help Ja, kind of get like better, like, and kind of slow down with all like the gun stuff and beating up teenagers. Drew Holiday is probably number one, then like Chris Paul, but then like Dame is probably pretty high on that list too if I really thought about it. So um I think it's great for him. Uh Good change of scenery. There's also nothing to do in Portland, just same as Memphis, so uh can't imagine he'd be up to much good. But I see him go like Miami or something or New Orleans. So there's that. Plus, good job, Jeff. You're not gonna have a kid. No, actually, it's fine if you do. Um, just yeah. Let's go on to the next part. All right. So for the Jimmy Butler and Anthony Davis trade, mocked up a trade. Um, Now this trade, since they make very similar money, you can do a one for one. However, the Wizards know that the Warriors gain a little more from this than just Anthony Davis. Plus, Jimmy has a torn ACL right now, so the Wizards aren't even going to be able to use Jimmy for the first 3 months of the season, right? Um, so the Warriors are going to need to send some picks along with it. So the Warriors don't really have any contracts to give, so that's why I wasn't gonna. That's why I didn't throw any other players in. So the Warriors are sending 3 picks, 2 firsts and a second. However, one of the first is a swap in 2028, and 2027 is a top four protected pick. So if it's 5 through 30, uh, it's good. That trade was accepted straight up for Anthony Davis. Warriors can't really take on any more money, so it's just got to be AD in return. I think that's a pretty good trade. As a Warriors fan, I'd rather see what else I can get for that package because I don't like the uncertainty of the AD injuries, and I also don't like how LeBron had sciatica and is 42. So there is that. Um, I think Jimmy Butler is a good player, but also there's the uncertainty of hey, Jimmy Butler comes back from injury, and what if he's not the same? He is a person who kind of relies on his strength and explosiveness rather than his shooting. And if he doesn't have that for the first few months, he might not be ready till the playoffs. Obviously, playoff Jimmy is a different beast, but I'd rather not wait till April to have Jimmy Butler, but be paying him 60 million all year. All right, now it's time to recap the 2026 NBA lottery because I don't know much about college basketball. I did look into the prospects afterwards and I watched March Madness like everyone, but I'm not watching, you know, Texas Tech versus I don't know, Tennessee in December. I don't even know if those two teams play each other in, the college regular season. I don't know if they're in the same conference. I don't even know if Tennessee is a real school. I think it is. Yeah, Native men went there. Okay. Um, First overall, we're just doing a lottery. Uh, Wizards selected AJ Devonsa. Um, Great pick. Can't really just you did the right thing. You didn't overthink it. Congrats, Wizards. Jimmy Butler can teach him a lot of things. Darren Peterson goes to the Utah Jazz. I think Boozer would have been the pick if you didn't trade for Jaren. Kessler seems to want to be there, so you are going to be okay with having Jaren there. But I'm a little scared of their shooting, specifically from the 4 and 5, because Jaren, his shooting the last few years has kind of fallen off. Although he was a good shooter in the first few years of his career, has kind of taken a backseat to his defense, and his rebounding has always taken a backseat to his basketball ability. But it's about Darren Peterson here. So Darren Peterson obviously has the injury concern, and he sat out so much of the college season. However, I think if that's really creatine related and he's really going to stop taking that much creatine, great pick. He's basically super soldier Devin Booker upside, which is Anthony Edwards, Kobe type thing. So happy with that pick. Could be a superstar in this league for sure. Speaking of superstars in this league, Cam Boozer goes to the Grizzlies. Really don't know what the Grizzlies are going to do with Ja, but that's not an issue for right now. This is about Cam Boozer, and he's their guy. He's probably he could very easily become the best player of this draft. And in 5 years' time, people are being like, "Oh my God, how did he go 3? Like what?" And I think he's my pick for rookie of the year. I think the other two picks have enough talent around them where they're not going to be able to get a lot of the share. But I don't think Ty 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 Jerome and Gigi Jackson and Zach Edey are going to be taking away that many touches from Cam Boozer. So I think he'll average around 19, 20 easily, 11 boards, that type of thing. So yeah, very strong guy too. Um, I can already see it now. He's gonna struggle for like the first month, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, he was only strong. He was only good in college because he was stronger than everyone." And then he's gonna get adapted to the NBA and get strong, and then he's gonna dominate. I can see it already. That's my prediction. Caleb Wilson went 4 to the Bulls. The Bulls and the Grizzlies were the only two teams that weren't in the top 4. Don't quote me on that. The Jazz might not have been, but they jumped up and they grabbed Caleb Wilson, their guy. Caleb Wilson is very good. Um, there's not much I can say about him. The Bulls have the slap mantra of size, length, athleticism, and physicality. So, gotta say it's a great pick. If I'd grade the top 4 picks, I'd give all of them A pluses. The Clippers draft Keaton Wagler from Illinois. I would have gone with Acuff, but I guess they kind of it's hard with the new lottery because you would think, oh, if they're gonna sell Leonard, they're gonna sell Garland and then just draft Acuff. But the new lottery, they don't want to be the worst team in the league, so they want to keep Garland, get someone who can complement him like Wagler and move on, and hopefully not be so horrible. But yeah, basically, Pacers kind of got fucked here, but oh well. The Brooklyn Nets, they drafted Michael Brown Jr. If you weren't aware, the Brooklyn Nets now have about 8 point guards on their roster. Yeah, one of them's got to hit, right? It's like in baseball, you keep drafting pitchers until one of them becomes, Cam Schlittler. Uh, Sacramento Kings draft my boy A Cuff, my favorite player from the draft. Um, it's just because I'm very huss. Like that's very, it's good, it's ethical, it's good, it's nice to watch. Love to see it. Great pick. Unfortunately, he's in Sacramento, so that sucks. But Kingston Flemings to the Hawks. Love that pick as well. I'm not like claim to be such a big Kingston Flemings guy, but he has shown a lot and he's very knowledgeable. I've heard him talk and he carries himself in a way that I think a pro athlete should and would. You can kind of see with a lot of the way that some guys carry themselves, and it's going to take them a while to get acclimated to the league because they're kind of a little bit mature. But I really think Kingston Flemings is out there, and I think he's also my hot take is he's going to be second in Rookie of the Year behind Cam Boozer and A Cuff right after. Merez Johnson to the Mavericks. This was of all of the lottery picks, this was the most. This was the only one that like someone reached on. Everything else, there was probably a mock of that person going there. I don't think anyone saw Merez Johnson going there, but good player, like his game. I think it's a good pick for the Mavs, even though he was projected to go around 11 to 15. 9 isn't that much crazier. So, if I had to grade the last 4 picks of Wagler, Brown, A Cup, Flemings, and Johnson, so that's 5. I'd go B on Wagler, B on Brown, A plus A Cuff, A minus Flemings, and B on Bryce Johnson as well. I know that might seem like kind of just, it's hard to not be optimistic about the draft unless you really reach on someone crazy. So you gotta remember that. I'm not gonna give out really any bad grades unless like Yaxel got picked first. Um, Braden Burries to Milwaukee's first pick. Yeah, I think that's a good pick. Um, Definitely the best. I think he's one of the better players in the draft. Like at his position. I think he can kind of do everything. Uh, but he a little bit like I don't know. He good player. That's what I'm trying to say. I like Brainberries. Like I like him to Milwaukee. Um, I don't know if Milwaukee's gonna trade Hero or not, but if they don't, they're probably gonna be just fine together. So, Yaxel goes to my Warriors. Not much to say about that. The oldest team got older because their youngest player is old. I would like to, not have. I told my buddies, earlier today, can we get someone who can't run for president? I got my wish. Yaxel can't run for president for another 11 years. So I got my wish. Adai Mara goes to the Thunder. I talked about this earlier. Good pick. Not much more there. Um, Obviously, you're scared of Wemby. It's very apparent. Nate Ament to Milwaukee. This one. Oh, Nate Ament. Project guy. Um, also the project guy, Kaminga. Now we picked Kaminga at 7. I think it's fine being uh, at 13 is fine. It's your second pick of the draft. You got your guy in Burries, and you have connections to Nate Ament through your organization. So I don't hate the pick for Milwaukee. If any other team did it here, I would probably dislike it more. Um, Einsteinbach to the Hornets. It's the final pick of the lottery. Um, it's, it's a good pick, I guess. I can't really say too much on him. Didn't do too much research on him, but uh, after seeing the LaMelo stuff and the Bridges stuff, I can kind of see they're going down a path of really just trying to get bodies and be physical and kind of give the reins to Khan and Miller. So yeah, don't hate it. Say B plus for that one. For Ament, I'm gonna go C plus. For Mara, I'm gonna go A plus because Wemby is the whole reason the Thunder lost. So Thunder literally swept their way to the Western Conference Finals, and then they're like, "Oh, this guy's making our second overall pick center look like a mouse right now." Yaxel, I'm gonna give that one a B plus, just because we'll see how it plays out. Um, if the Warriors can, get a better, well-rounded, better, well-rounded roster. Um, during free agency in the offseason through trades and just signings, I think that will be better. But the current roster they had when they drafted him was not going to compete for a championship. But they can get AD and LeBron, and they can kind of load manage those guys through the regular season. And if they can re-sign KP, he can be a little load managed the regular season. I think with the right other, guys around them with pods. Unfortunately, Moody will be out all year. He might be able to return for the playoffs, but I mean, after doing a whole year of it, might not be the type of thing you want to return for after being out for a year. But yeah, hopefully he can come back a little before it, or else I don't want us to really see him because I don't want him to just be trying to get into a group in the playoffs. Oh, and then Mraz Johnson. Nope, Braden Burries. I'm gonna give that one an A as well. I already graded Mraz, so yeah, that's it for the draft recap. Just the lottery because don't really care about anything else. I will talk on Spurs drafting Jane Quains. Uh, Big gamble. No, it's not a huge gamble, but it's definitely a gamble with the injury. If he can be who he was before, that will be the steal of the draft. Speaking of draft, let's do a draft. All right, welcome to the draft portion of the show. We're going to do a draft every episode, and this draft is going to be, can I make a team to beat the 96 Bulls? So, specifically the 96 Bulls. It's not just, can I make a good team? So, I want to pick teams to match up well. So, kind of want someone who can clamp down guards. And we're going to pick coach as well. So, yeah. What we're going to do is we're going to spin this wheel, and I'm going to have my Alexa tell me a year from 2000 to 2026, and we're going to take version of that team from that year. I will look on Basketball Reference if I cannot think of a player from that specific year, or to check if a player was there that year. So yeah, let's spin the wheel. All right, let's see what we're gonna get. Okay. All right, obviously Michael Jordan, Sky Pippen are not gonna be in the equation here because it's gonna be 2000 2026. So Echo, pick a number between 0 and 26.
Here's a number between 0 and 26. It's 24.
Okay, so she said 24. Um, was really hoping for like 11. Get Derrick Rose, Joakim Noah, but I guess if I had to choose some 24 Bulls, no. I give me yeah, give me DeMar DeRozan. I'm gonna need some scoring. I can use someone who can finish inside. I'm taking DeRozan because although he's not a good defender, I think he's a better defender than Zach LaVine, which we're gonna need. Just in case he ends up having a match up on Mike. And if that happens, I don't think I'm gonna win, but we'll try. All right. Our second spin. So right now I got DeMar at small forward, 24 DeMar. Ooh, okay, Charlotte Hornets. This is not good. All right. Let's see. Echo, give me a number between 0 and 26.
Here's a number between 0 and 26. It's 0.
Ooh, okay, the 2000s Hornets. Um, I am gonna do a thing real quick because I have a person in mind. I have a few people in mind, but I don't know if they were still there. In so this is gonna be the 1999 to 2000 Charlotte Hornets. All right, so okay, so Derek Coleman was there, Baron Davis was there, Eddie Jones was there. Okay, neither of the people I was thinking about were there. All right, I was just making sure that they were in 90s and they weren't there. I was just thinking about Larry Johnson, Glenn Rice. Um, I'm gonna take Derek Coleman. Uh, I think he's I think he's the pick here, Derek Coleman. So he's gonna be my four. So my forwards right now are DeMar DeRozan and Derek Coleman. Okay, Phoenix Suns. We can get someone here. If I can get a Steve Nash, a Chris Paul, even if I can get 21 Chris Paul, I'll take that. Um, I guess like a Sean Marion, Amari Stoudemire would be fine, but uh, yeah. All right, Echo. Give me a number between 0 and 26.
Here's a number between 0 and 26. It's 24.
All right, 24. Who? Okay, I'm gonna go with Kevin Durant. We're gonna move we're, we're gonna move DeRozan to our 2. We're gonna have KD at the 3, and we're gonna have Coleman at the 5. All right. We definitely got some size here. We got a 6'7" to a 7 foot um and then a 6'10" forward. So yeah. All right, we're gonna need a big man at point guard. That's not what you want to leave it as. Okay, we can get Jason Kidd. We could get Kyrie, James Harden. I really don't want any of those old Celtics guys. Darren Williams. I guess I'll take maybe like Brook Lopez or KG if like I have to for a big man, but I kind of want. I'd rather get a guard, but I don't want Kyrie or James Harden. I need Jason Kidd here. Echo. Give me a number between
I'm
0.
not quite sure how to help you with that.
You're so stupid. Echo. Give me a number between 0 and 26.
Here's a number between 0 and 26. It's 23.
23? 23? Okay. Fuck. All right. So I'm pretty sure this was the year that those boys got traded. Um. So 2022. to 2023 Brooklyn Nets. All right. Yeah. Can't double up on Kevin Durant, unfortunately. Uh, all right, so James Harden is not on this list, so he's gone. He's probably where I was gonna go, but I'm gonna go with 2023 Nicholas Claxton here because I need a facilitator, and Kyrie is not that. So okay, I can get Steve Nash or Chris Paul. I just need 2021 or like 2000 early 2010s. All right, Echo. Give me a number between 0 and 26.
Here's a number between 0 and 26. It's 26.
Welcome to the team, Colin Gillespie. All right, guys, let me know if 2026 Colin Gillespie, 2024 DeMar DeRozan, 2024 Kevin Durant, 20 or 2000 um Derek Coleman, or and 2023 Nick Claxton beat the 96 Bulls. All right. Let me know if that happens. This is the end of the episode. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this, let me know. Like it, share it. I'm gonna be keep doing these for you guys. If you didn't like it, don't tell people you didn't like it and still share it because maybe they'll like it. Yeah. Always enjoyed talking basketball and with the boys, and now I'm gonna talk basketball to my computer screen and hope people like it. So uh yeah, I might as well keep doing this. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for listening or watching, whatever you're doing. And see ya.